Cogito Specta Air, the real deal? Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Rotor Talk Live, and I was joined by very special guest Jack from Hapcrone Drones. We spent the better part of the evening discussing the Cogito Specta Air and Specta Mini. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. We're going to talk about the Cogito Specta Air and Specta Mini. And things I want to do right away is, and there it is, Jack has it right there. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look, and there's the Specta Mini next to the Specta Air.
I don't think I've shown this one on camera yet.
Well, oh wow, there you go.
There you go. So that's a sneak peek
here, guys.
We've never seen anything that looked like this before, have we?
No, not at all. Never. Okay. And if you look at the Hapcrone website here, you can take a look. Jack has done, and I got to say this, and I know I mentioned this to you in an email. You've done tremendous work with the Specta Air, Jack. You really have. You've covered it backwards, forwards, literally insides and out. So, hat tip to you for all your hard work with this.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun. Like, it is hilarious because I never expected this thing to be what it was. So Cogito reached out to me, weeks ago, right? And they said, hey, would you be interested in this drone? And they sent me pictures of it and they sent me specs. I'm like, this is the Air 3. And my first thought was, this is also a scam. But you know what? I'm in. Let's do it. Send me this drone, and I'm gonna make a funny video about how, it has a terrible camera and brush motors and whatever. And then it shows up in this box right here. I'm like, oh no, this thing might actually be legit. And lo and behold, it certainly is, and my brother-in-law Chris and I, we run this channel together. We put this thing through the paces. We put it right up with the Air 3. We did a video comparison. We did a range test. We did a speed test. We did an obstacle avoidance test. We compared their cameras in photos. Chris took this thing apart and put it back together to look at the insides. Like, it isn't like somebody made a really good copy of the Air 3. This is the Air 3, right? It's made in the same process, probably in the same factories as the Air 3. Software is the same, right? The remotes are the same. Everything is the same. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, it really is. Now, one of the things that I want to tell everybody is, I contacted Specta, Cogito, whatever you want to call it, and they're going to be sending me the Specta Mini. Now they don't have a firm date, but the email that I got from my contact with them said end of April. So, obviously he said you do your video, but we don't want you to release it. And I'm sure Jack probably is the same way. They don't want us to release it until the end of April. But if you look at it, the Mini, I mean, seriously, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, it's another instance here of a DJI drone that's not a DJI drone.
Correct. Yeah. So this, and I actually have not flown this, right? Because the firmware, or the app, right? I need an app because it doesn't fly with the other one flew with the RC2. This one has the RC N1. Actually, no, I lied. This is the Specta Mini RC, totally different than the RC N1 from DJI. But the app doesn't exist in the App Store. It does exist on Android, but I don't have an Android phone. And Chris, who does, was in California until today. Actually, I think he gets back today. So I'll be able to test this thing this upcoming weekend. But Chris took the Air 3 with him to Palm Springs, California, and he got some unbelievable footage. I did put some of
I did see some of that
footage in the videos, but he went out that the last day I posted, that was the remote for the Mini, right here. That's it. He got some pictures of rainbows over the mountains in Palm Springs. It's unbelievable. I wonder, can I show some of that? Let me see if I
Oh,
can.
absolutely.
Here, let's see if I can. I'll get this up on my here. Present, share screen. All right, give me a second here. I want this one. Okay. Let's see. All right, here we go. So, it's you know, I don't know. You might get a little bit of a stutter here, but you see that rainbow in the back? Like, that's pretty awesome shots. You know, he was outside of Palm Springs, and it just, you know, it worked. That I'm like, yeah, you know what, Chris? Why don't you take this thing? I love the shadows from the clouds. I think that's a pretty awesome shot right there.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is all from the Cogito, the Specta Air. This is a non-DJI drone, but it's absolutely capable of some pretty awesome stuff. You know, I mean, look at that. Like, that's an awesome shot. I told him we should put
it
this
really
stuff up,
is.
and you know, this, like, somebody will buy this as stock footage. You know, just
Oh yeah, it's yeah, it's definitely kind of stock footage kind of stuff.
but yeah, the camera on the Specta Air, it's legit. It is gorgeous. You know, I see some things in the comments, the tariffs on DJI drones. You know, tariffs, I believe, a lot of that has to do with, you know, where the drones are produced. And this drone is supposedly built in Malaysia. That's what the sticker on it says. And I believe that's going to allow them to have lower tariffs, right? So they're going to have a lower cost to selling this drone, right? So I believe the you know, the tariff costs are whatever we end up paying them, but you know, they can lower the cost on the drone a little bit that way because it's made in Malaysia versus being made in China. But yeah, I just thought I'd share some of that footage there.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for doing that. That was great.
Yeah. So Chris, yeah, he took it with him. So I actually have two of these drones. This one here, this is the first one they sent me. It doesn't actually work because the firmware wasn't compatible, and I'm sending this back to them. I'll do that probably tomorrow afternoon. But I couldn't get it activated, right? And rumor is that they activate through DJI servers and whatnot anyway. So, you know, is there a hack that'll be 100% compatible to the Air 3? I'm sure that there's somebody that can do that. That somebody is not me. I don't know how that works. You know, how does that drone mimic the Air 3 cost? I think, you know, so one of the things that is interesting about this, right? So you get this drone, one battery, and the DJI RC2, and that's $1,200, right? So if I wanted to buy with one battery, if I want to buy the DJI Air 3, I don't have the option to buy it with that remote. I have to buy it with one that looks like this, and that's, what is that, $1,100, right? So for an extra $100, you get a screen. Is one way to look at it. So is it cheaper? No. But if I wanted to buy this drone from DJI, and I also wanted this remote with the screen, you know, this remote with the screen is $255. So it's going to end up costing me more, right, to buy it through DJI. So that's one thing. You know, there's I made a whole video on my theories, and you know, I think the tariff has something to do with it. You know, is the ban a potential? Is this potentially a workaround for a ban? Maybe, but I think in time this would, you know, they would, if they prove this was made by DJI, would also get banned. But I think, you know, DJI, this is just another way for DJI to make sure that they're making money, right? So they're selling this drone. Most likely what is happening is they, you know, they made a bunch of Air 3s, or they have a bunch of Air 3 parts. So they're putting them together and they're bulk selling them to Specta, who then in turn license, pays for that or whatever, and then sells them to us on Amazon. Like they have made an agreement with DJI to sell this. They bought them in bulk or at cost or whatever surplus, and they're said, we're gonna sell them on Amazon in the U.S. market. That's what we're gonna do. And I think that makes not as much sense with the Air 3, but it absolutely makes sense when you think about a drone like this, right? This isn't the Mini 3. This isn't the Mini 4. This is a Mini 2 or Mini 2 SE. Now, it supposedly has a 4K camera, which the Mini 2 SE only does 2.7K. But you know what? Spoiler alert, the Mini 2 SE actually has a 4K camera. It'll take 4K pictures, but it won't do 4K video. So why is that?
Yeah.
It's because DJI doesn't want you to. They want you to spend a little bit more to buy the Mini 2, which they don't sell anymore because it's basically the same price as the Mini 3, which does do 4K. So, this is a way for them to sell a bunch of these drones because this is a great drone. I mean, this is a really good drone. I just made a video. I have a Mavic Mini, an original Mavic Mini. I have a Mini 2, a Mini 3, a Mini 4, right? I got them all. And I just made a video comparing, the original Mini to the Mini 4. And it is a significant change from one to the other. But the original is still a fantastic drone.
Oh, yeah.
And the Mini 2 and the Mini 2 SE were just iterations. It just made it a little bit better. Like if this drone is $300, and I don't know that, did they tell you the price point I asked?
No, they didn't tell me yet, but they said something around 300.
Yeah, 300 has got to be my guess, right? My guess is this thing will be $299, and
Right.
this will absolutely be the best drone that you can buy for $299 or $300. Like your other options are what? You could buy maybe the Fimi Mini. I think that's right around $300. You could buy the Potenzic Atom. That's about $300. You might be able to still find a Mini 2 SE, but those were up around $335 the last time I checked.
Right.
And then after that, you're stuck with things from Holy Stone and MJX, and you know what? No, thank you. I would take any of those drones over that, and I would still take any of these DJI drones I've talked about over any of those.
Oh,
So.
absolutely. And, you made a lot of sense when you were talking about how, what your theories are regarding, what's going on here. And, somebody, and I think it may have been Candano, I'm not sure, for example, the triple tech tablets that a lot of people get to use with their drones, Triple Tech doesn't make them. Okay. They're made for them and they slap the Triple Tech label on them. So, this is the same kind of an instance here where, Cogito is a real company. They're, you go out there and do some research. They are a real technology company. Okay. And I think they're based in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yes,
So they're a real company, and, they went out, because this had to have some type of, wireless communications. It got an FCC approval. So that was out there. It's out on that database, because a lot of people at first were questioning the legitimacy of all this. And I said, if it's out on the FCC database, it's the real deal. Okay. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. And, and I have a little, I do have a little bit of working knowledge of the FCC, being a licensed ham radio operator. So, all in all, I think it's I think it's a win for us now. Right now, currently, I went out there. The website's still not up yet. They don't have that active.
It's active.
It is now.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Or at least they sent it to me. Yeah, here we go. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an active website. There's the Mini. I figured it was okay to show the actual drone because they have it on their website.
On their
right.
website,
So look, there's the Mini 249 4K 3-axis gimbal, 328,000 foot distance transmission. I don't know what that means. What is that? We'll figure that out in a second. Coming soon. And then we get to the Specta Air, right? And if you, here's our company, Cogito Techs Limited. That is a real company. It is based in Hong Kong. Yeah, it says it right there. If you guys have questions, email them here after sales. And you can ask them other questions. I've emailed after sales. I have a contact for Cogito. I email them both because I'm like, well, somebody will get back to me. I'll just email as many
Now,
people.
do they have batteries available for the Air?
Not yet. I was told probably around the same time that that they launched the Mini, they should have some of those accessories.
Okay, good. Okay,
because that is a big deal. Because I can't use a DJI Air 3 battery. It comes up with an error, and I cannot use a DJI remote. The Faith Mini drone. Someone mentioned that. Yeah, I would take the Faith Mini drone. Comes in after the Potenzic, which comes in after the Fimi Mini. I fly all the mini drones. I love sub 250 drones. They're nice and inconspicuous. They're not super loud. They take decent pictures and video. If we click shop now, we're just going to go to their Specta store, which is Amazon. So that's what we get. But
well, it's great that the website's up and running. That's a real good thing. And I want to surprise everybody here. It's probably not a big surprise, but
I bet I know what it is. I bet it's a drone.
Yeah.
Boom.
This came the other day, so
there it is.
We're gonna see this in action, and I'm thrilled about this, Jack, because I watched yours. I mean, you did, like I said, you and Chris just did yeoman's duty on this. You really did the nth degree, and there were a couple other really good ones out there as well. A couple other reviewers had gotten a hold of it. There are a couple of so-sos that weren't really that good, but for the most part, yours and Chris's were, I think they're the gold standard for this.
Thank you.
And what you've done, and I think you've done the drone community a great service, because regardless of the purpose that Cogito made, why they're doing this, all right, you literally gave us an alternative. They literally gave us an alternative to DJI, and while it's not incredibly less than a DJI drone, it is less. And we'll be finding out more about their service as well too, and also accessories. And they're coming out with this. But I mean, it's a breath of fresh air, because we saw Skydio come and go. I mean, they're gone now for consumers. Parrot is come and gone. They're gone for consumers. Unique, who even I don't even know if they're still in business.
I don't think so.
And there's lots of rumors about Autel, going the way of Skydio. So we have what I call a game changer here. Yeah. And for me, and I'll tell you this, the last several months, the Mini 4, I love the Mini 4 Pro, absolutely love it. But I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, that drone that I'm going to reach for to fly on the weekend was the Air 3. All right, because it did everything, and it did it extremely well. All right,
yeah, it really does.
And that's why I'm looking forward to having this and using this in conjunction with the Air 3, and just use it as a in partnership with it. So I'm real excited about this.
It is great.
I really am.
There's a question here. The question is, will they launch something similar to Care Refresh? But really, like, I have never ever bought Care Refresh from DJI, right? I don't crash. One, I don't crash these drones. They're really hard to crash. But I understand, like, people want that insurance policy, right? Why wouldn't you just go through your own insurance, which I know you can, or get a policy when you buy the drone from Amazon? So when we bought the DJI FPV drone, I bought it on Amazon, and I bought the insurance policy for that drone on Amazon, because I'm like, if I'm going to crash something, it's going to be this thing. And it was cheaper. And I ended up I never broke it. I never needed to use that insurance policy, but you don't have to get Care Refresh from DJI. Now, the other thing that people, I think is crazy, and people don't think about this, like, my I teach a drones class up at a local high school, right? And we have a fleet of DJI Minis, Mavic Minis, actually the originals, the ones. And they're kids, right? So we crashed one. We broke one last year. I sent it to DJI. They fixed it for like $120. Like, what? I didn't have care refresh. Like, what is, like, am I really saving money with care refresh when I could just send it back and have it repaired? Like, people, it's not a deal breaker. There are other options. I think there are better options. And probably the one I'd recommend is just don't get it.
And one of the things that we talked about before the show tonight was, I have State Farm personal articles policy on all my drones. All right. Mm-hmm. And I did get care refresh on some things, but for every drone, I'd make sure that is added to my personal articles policy, because, for example, care refresh, if you can't send the drone back to them, care refresh isn't going to work. All right. You have to be able to recover that drone. And say, for example, I go flying out over the bay here in Tampa or something happens and boom, my drone hits the water, it's gone. I can't do anything. So with my personal articles policy, I've already talked to my agent and I asked about it, and they said, all you got to do is tell us that, Bill, and it's like, when you do have to provide a proof of sale, you do have to provide a UPC and the serial number for the product, but, I do personal article policy. I have it on all my electronic equipment with State Farm. They're wonderful. And I found a great agent by me. And, initially, to have like maybe 2 or 3 drones was like $79 for a year, and it's full replacement. It's just full replacement.
You can't
beat it.
Such a better deal.
It really is. Question of the day. What did you think of Cogito Specta Air, the real deal? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.